last night's live stream is no more. Maybe it'll be resurrected once my appeal goes through, but it has been struck instantly because of medical misinformation about COVID-19. Because we talked about a couple of things, not in any great detail, but we mentioned that Omicron was displacing the other variants of COVID, which is true. We mentioned that it can kind of slip through the vaccines. Vaccines will still give you some protection, but not as much. True. And we said that the Omicron variant isn't as terrible. You're less likely to get sick or hospitalized or whatever. Guess what? All true. And I'm going to prove it to you because they say follow the science. Well, guess who has 2 thumbs and has been following the science? This guy. So, what have we got? Let's see. There's some science right there. Reduced neutralization of SARS-CoV-2 Omicron variant by vaccine sera and monoclonal antibodies. Let's see. I'm just going to kind of give you the summary here on the abstract. Our in vitro findings using authentic SARS-CoV-2 variants indicate that, in contrast to the currently circulating Delta variant, and that's what they've been doing, it's like, what has Omicron been doing versus Delta? The neutralization efficacy of vaccine-elicited sera against Omicron was severely reduced, highlighting T-cell-mediated immunity as an essential barrier to prevent severe COVID-19. Since SARS-CoV-2 Omicron was resistant to these couple of treatments, genotyping of SARS-CoV-2 may be needed before initiating MAB treatment. Variant-specific vaccines and MAB agents may be required to treat COVID-19 due to Omicron and other emerging variants of concern. Vaccine doesn't work quite as well. Who knew? I did. I knew. Because I've been reading the science. Yeah. But, cue Sean Wayans meme, but wait! There's more! I got another one. And this one is I think this is the one they're probably really complaining about because they don't want you to know that the Omicron variant isn't as bad. They want to be continually hitting the alarm bells. They want to keep the panic going. Even though Omicron is not at all like the COVID we've experienced last year. It's on its way to becoming yet another cold virus, as epidemiologists predicted when this began. Listen to the people who keep making successful predictions. That's what I say. So this is analyzed clinical and epidemiological data, tens of thousands of cases. I'm just going to scroll down a bit here. Let's see. Adjusted hazard ratios for any subsequent hospital admission and symptomatic hospital admission associated with Omicron infection were 0.48 and 0.47, respectively. Rates of ICU admission and mortality after an outpatient positive test were 0.26 and 0.09-fold as high among cases with Omicron variant as compared to cases with Delta variant infection. So basically, if you get infected with the Omicron variant, you're 91% less likely to have to go to the hospital than with Delta. So, yeah. And it also says 0 cases with Omicron variant infection received medical ventilation. So again, almost none of them. Well, in this case, literally none of them, but that's just none of these samples. I mean, there were tens of thousands, so it's a pretty good sample size. But, we can't say, oh, there hasn't been one patient anywhere in the world that who knows? But it's so rare, it didn't show up in this study with this sample size. let's see, where was that? To receive medical ventilation. Let's see. Median duration of hospital stay was 3.4 days shorter for hospitalized cases with Omicron variant as compared to hospitalized patients with Delta variant infections, reflecting a 69.6% reduction in hospital length of stay. So, and this is comparing Omicron and Delta. If you get Omicron, you're less likely to get sick. You're less likely to have to go to the doctor, less likely to have to go to the hospital. If you do go to the hospital, you're not going to stay as long. You're only going to stay like less than a third of the time in the hospital. And you almost certainly won't need medical ventilation. And again, there doesn't seem to be any data regarding confirmed Omicron deaths because there don't seem to be any. All of this is the science. All of this that they took down my live stream for. And what kind of sucks is, while I was recording, OBS's the saving to the disk of it, my local archive copy failed on me. And I thought, well, it'll be up on YouTube. I can download it. Well, guess what? I can't now. I can't download a copy from YouTube because they won't even let me access it. They won't even let me get to it and get a copy of it when you get a strike. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Otherwise, I'd be putting in clips proving that this is what we were saying. But it's what we were saying. And their conclusions are, during a period with mixed Delta and Omicron variant circulation, SARS-CoV-2 infections with presumed Omicron variant infection were associated with substantially reduced risk of severe clinical endpoints and shorter durations of hospital stay. Booyah! I don't know, man. This is the difference, people. This is the difference between science and scientism. Science is science. Scientism is dogma. And what we've been faced here with, what we've been having to deal with since the start, is dogma. Dogma about COVID, everything about it. That you have to fit a narrative which says follow the science, that doesn't follow the science. And then live streams like mine get taken down for no good reason. And that's what YouTube is doing. YouTube is very much a participant in this. An active participant. You know, because this seems to have just been done on their own. It happened like immediately after. So it doesn't sound like anyone reported it or anything. They just did it on their own. Medical misinformation, COVID, boom. Probably wasn't even them. Probably was an algorithm. But it's looking for these claims about Omicron. Claims which are true. And going, oh, we can't have people saying that. We take them down. This is what we're facing. Now, you could say that these are just one studies. These are ones that I just found quickly to make this video because, you know, I'm kind of PO'd and I wanted to get this out. But these are far from the only one. You can search them yourself. But the links to these are down in the description. But yeah, the information is out there. And yeah, there's a lot of this that's still up in the air. And there's a lot of this that you could say may change over time. But that's what science does. And that's why you can't set up a particular narrative and say, well, this is the science, especially in something new and changing. Omicron didn't even exist back in, like, November, I think was when it came out. It's only existed for a couple of months. There's probably a lot we still don't know about Omicron. So, yeah, if you're going to this early in the game, set up a narrative and force people to go along with it, and anyone who disagrees is misinformation. You're not doing science. You're doing the opposite of science. And that's really all there is to it. Thank you very much. Comments for the comment god, shares for the share throne, like, subscribe, and the bell. Please go to donate.bogosity.tv because I just spent hours doing a live stream that I'm not going to make any money from now. So please go and give what you can, or become a regular Patreon or subscribe star. I guess if it doesn't come back up, they're supposed to get it back up within a week. Last time it took like 2 months when they pulled this. It took 2 months to get it all straightened out. It's crazy. It's weird. So I'll probably have to redo the live stream. So if you didn't get a chance to perform in the January live stream, come in and join in the audio, in the voice chat with me. You'll get another chance because I'll have to do another one because I don't have one up now. So we'll redo that. All you do is go to Patreon or Subscribe Star. Links are at donate.bogosity.tv. Sign up at any level, and you'll need to associate it with your Discord login. If you do that, then it'll automatically give you access to the special parts of the Bogosity Discord at discord.bogosity.tv. There's a live stream chat and a live stream voice chat. You can go into live stream voice chat whenever you want and talk to people. That's all right. But that's what I use when we go live. That's the voice chat that I'm in doing that. So if you want another chance to get in for January and you hate that you missed this one, just keep an eye on things. I'll announce it. So we'll redo this. Thank you so very much. Until next time, as always, stay strong and be free.